Hello and welcome to Learning with Lulu. So in this video we are going to be going over a quick summary of chapter 16 in Jane Eyre. So the night before was when Jane discovered Mr. Rochester asleep on a bed that was caught up in flames, and she essentially rescued him from that. And so the next morning is when chapter 16 is taking place, and Jane is very surprised to find that there's not really much talk going on about the night before. It's not this scandal that everyone's talking about. And everyone being the servants, believe that Mr. Rochester, he simply fell asleep with a candle by his bed, and that's that. And Jane talks to Grace Poole, who she suspects, and who last night Mr. Rochester confirmed, yep, it was Grace Poole. And she kind of accuses her at one point in the story, or one point in the chapter. But even Grace Poole doesn't seem to really show any sign of shame or guilt or remorse. And that really concerns Jane, and she can't really fathom why a murderer would be allowed to continue working at Thornfield. And she kind of comes up with some theories, but ultimately she's just uncomfortable that Mr. Rochester is allowing Grace Poole to still work there. At one point in the chapter, she also starts to realize that she is having feelings for Mr. Rochester, and she's disappointed that he's going to be away for several days at an event that is being hosted by a Blanche Ingram. Now, Mrs. Fairfax tells Jane about this Blanche Ingram, and Jane, she scolds herself for having feelings for Mr. Rochester. And based on the description that Mrs. Fairfax gave Jane, she fashions two separate portraits, one of Blanche and one of herself. The one of Blanche is full of beauty and color, and the one she does of herself is it's a very harsh self-portrait. And she forces herself to compare the two portraits and essentially say, why would Mr. Rochester want this over Blanche? So that's quite a depressing aspect of the chapter. You very much feel for Jane, and you also see this passionate side of her. Not that you haven't seen that so far in the book, but yeah, you see it here as well. For a quote from the chapter, the part that I wanted to share with you was a bit more when Jane is realizing that she does have feelings for Mr. Rochester. And it says, "I hastened to drive from my mind the hateful notion I had been conceiving respecting Grace Poole. It disgusted me. I compared myself with her and found we were different." She had been maybe saying, maybe there was some romantic attachment between Grace Poole and Mr. Rochester. Bessie Levin had said I was quite a lady, and she spoke truth. I was a lady, and now I looked much better than I did when Bessie saw me. I had more color and more flesh, more life, more vivacity, because I had brighter hopes and keener enjoyments. So she knows that she just embodies her happiness more, and so that's making her appear even more beautiful. When we embody our happiness, it shines through. "Evening approaches," said I, as I looked towards the window. "I have never heard Mr. Rochester's voice or step in the house today, but surely I shall see him before night. I feared the meeting in the morning. Now I desire it, because expectation has been so long baffled that it has grown impatient." So She goes from fearing meeting him in the morning to now desiring it, because she's been hoping and expecting it for so long. So that's a quick summary of chapter 16 in Jane Eyre. Please make sure to comment down below your thoughts on this chapter. Like this video, share with others you know who would benefit from it, and definitely please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you back around, and thanks for watching. Bye.